The air is filled with the sound of a distant talking drum, its beat telling a story older than any of us. It's in a place just like this, a place full of life and rhythm, that our story begins. It's the story of a man who didn't just play music, he was music. A man whose voice became the soundtrack for a revolution. We're going back in time to 1938 in a town called Abeokuta, Nigeria. This wasn't just any town, it was a place humming with history, nestled among ancient rocks. This is where a baby boy named Olufela Olusegun Oludotun Ransome Kuti was born. Now, that's a mouthful, I know. The world would later know him simply as Fela. His family was incredible. His mother, Funmilayo Ransom Kuti, was a powerhouse, a leading activist, a fighter for women's rights, a true trailblazer who stood up to the colonial rulers. His father was a respected school principal and a minister. So you see, Fela grew up in a house where passion for justice and a love for your people were served for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It was in his blood. From a young age, Fela was different. He wasn't the kid who quietly did his homework in the corner. No, he was the one tapping his fingers on the table, humming a tune only he could hear, his mind already dancing to a beat that the rest of the world hadn't caught up to yet. His parents, hoping for a doctor, sent him off to London to study medicine. But Fela had other plans. His heart wasn't in stethoscopes, it was in saxophones. So there he was, a young Nigerian man in London, supposedly hitting the medical books. But instead, he found his way to the Trinity College of Music. This was his real calling. He dove headfirst into the world of jazz, studying the trumpet and soaking up the sounds of legends like Miles Davis and John Coltrane. He formed his first band, Kula Lobitos, and started cooking up a new sound. The real turning point, the moment that turned the spark into a blazing fire, came in 1969. Fela and his band took a trip to America. This wasn't the London he knew. This was the America of the civil rights and Black Power movements. He landed in Los Angeles and met a woman named Sandra Isidore, who was a member of the Black Panther Party. She opened his eyes. It was like a lightning bolt to his soul. He suddenly understood that the fight for Black people in America was connected to the fight for African people back home. Fela's entire worldview shifted. He changed the name of his band from Kuola Lobitos to Nigeria 70, and then later to Africa 70. The music changed too. It became slower, more hypnotic, with long instrumental jams that could go on for 20 minutes. He started singing in Pidgin English, the language of the common people in Nigeria, so everyone could understand his message. This new sound, this powerful fusion of funk, jazz, and traditional Yoruba rhythms, was given a name Afrobeat. When Fela returned to Nigeria, he was a changed man. He was no longer just a musician, he was a musical messenger. Back in Lagos, Fela set up his own world. He bought a house and declared it a sovereign state, independent from Nigeria. He called it the Kalakuta Republic. This wasn't just a home, it was a commune, a recording studio, and a haven for people who felt like outsiders in their own country. At the center of this world was Fela's nightclub, the Africa Shrine. Every night, the shrine would come alive with the electrifying sounds of Afrobeat. It was more than a concert, it was a ceremony, a political rally, and a spiritual gathering all in one. Fela, now calling himself the Black President, used the stage at the shrine as his pulpit. His songs became legendary anthems of protest. He wasn't singing about love and heartbreak, he was singing about the things everyone was thinking but was too afraid to say. He sang about corrupt politicians in songs like ITT and the brutality of the military in Zombie. The song Zombie was a direct jab at the Nigerian army, comparing soldiers to mindless robots who just followed orders without thinking. The government, as you can imagine, was not a fan. They saw him as a dangerous troublemaker. Fela was arrested over 200 times, but every time they locked him up, he came out stronger, with a new song about his experience. The biggest tragedy struck in 1977. In a brutal raid, 1,000 soldiers stormed the Kalakuta Republic and burned it to the ground. They threw Fela's elderly mother, the great activist Funmilayo, from a second-story window. She later died from her injuries. It was an unimaginable loss, an attempt to completely break him. For a while he was silent. But Fela Anikulapo Kuti could not be broken. He channeled his grief and rage into his music, releasing powerful albums that documented the horror of the attack. Fela Kuti, the Abami Ada or chief priest, passed away in 1997, but his spirit is far from gone. His death was mourned by millions across Africa and the world. Over 1 million people attended his funeral procession in Lagos, a testament to how deeply he had touched the lives of ordinary people. He was more than a pop star. He was a hero, a voice for the voiceless, a man who sacrificed his comfort and safety to speak truth to power. His influence is everywhere. You can hear the echoes of Afrobeat in the music of countless artists today, from Nigeria's own Burna Boy and Wizkid to international stars who have borrowed his rhythms and sampled his sound. Musicians and activists around the world look to Fela as a symbol of artistic courage. Fela's message of African pride also changed the continent forever. He challenged the colonial mindset that had lingered long after independence and inspired a new sense of self-worth and identity. So, the next time you hear a beat that makes you want to dance, but also makes you want to think, remember Fela. Remember the boy from Abeokuta who traded a doctor's coat for a saxophone. Remember the man who built a republic out of music.